Hi everybody, Tony with Shinsho Yoga and post her surf hair this week. I was supposed to record the video earlier, but today I decided to go out surfing. So you're getting end of the day video for you on Utthita Trikonasana or revolved triangle. So today I'd like to work on a little bit more of what I would consider to be an intermediate to advanced posture. And generally when I refer to a posture as being intermediate to advanced, it's not so much necessary as saying, well, you have to be an advanced practitioner to be able to do it. It means that your body has to have a certain degree of openness to be able to access this posture properly. And that it is not a posture that you would leap into in the beginning of a class, right? So this is a posture that should be done later on in a class, in a vinyasa, if that's the type of class you're doing, and that your body is relatively open for, because it requires a lot of parts of the body to be open to really get into the full expression of this pose. Now, Utthita Trikonasana does have some modifications you can do with that, primarily with a block. But if you don't have a block in your studio, or you are practicing at home and you are unable to do it, there are modifications you can do without it. So Utthita Trikonasana, or revolved triangle, is a standing pose, and it really gets into the inside of the legs, but is also really designed to open up the body. So you're really opening the core. So you really need openness throughout here, here, and here. So inner legs, hips, core, chest, shoulders, arms, to be able to revolve open into this. A lot of times when I see people doing this posture, even though I feel like cue it correctly, they don't come into it correctly. They kind of flop into the posture and don't do it precisely. And to be able to get the benefits from this posture, from revolved triangle, you really want to be precise in this movement. And again, and that's where that intermediate to advanced level comes in. Where something like child's pose is more of a basic posture, there isn't a large level of precision in the posture, as long as you are resting in the pose, right, and you're trying to sink the hips in and the arms are out in front. You have lots of modifications you can do. You are okay with it. With more higher end or advanced postures, the more precise you need to be in them. So that's how it falls into this category. You could do this posture if you are relatively new to the flow, new to yoga, as long as you are, again, warm when you're getting into it and modify accordingly for your body. So, not much to explain about it. It's really something I need to show you in Utthita Trikonasana. So, I'm going to do it on my good side, which is my left side, because one side or the other can be different on your body at all times. We want our feet to be in line as we would in Warrior 2, not Warrior 1, Warrior 2. So you want the heel and instep in line, and you want both of the legs straight during this. You don't want this bent, you don't want that out, right? So as in we go into, say, pyramid pose or something like that, we are straightening the legs, and the legs are to remain straight during this process. So the heel and the instep are in line, both legs are straight. The arms here are long. The width of the legs about the same width you would have for Warrior 2. The arms long, right? Shoulders relaxed. From here, you're going to bend from your hip crease, reaching forward. You're not doing this, right? You're not just flopping into it, right? You just don't go down into it. You want to have this length through the arms, and you want to reach forward. Reaching forward here, bending from this, reaching forward. So it's not just flopping into it. Reach. When you can go no further, that is where the hand comes down to the shin. Again, my legs are straight on both sides here. We're not bending them. They're straight. The hand comes down to the shin, and your top arm comes up to the sky. And you revolve the chest open. right? So I'm plugging this top shoulder in, bringing that arm back, gazing up towards the sky, revolving everything open. And you'll breathe. It is not this, right? We don't do this, right? We don't do this either, right? Or we don't do this, right? None of those are correct. This. If you are unable to get this chest revolved open, the arm up to the sky, the modifications are as follows. The most simple, bring the hand further up the leg. Bring the other hand to the hip. Revolve the chest open. Gaze up towards the sky. If you have shoulder problems and you can't get that open that way, just hand to the hip. Now, if that is not an issue for the top shoulder, bring the arm in. And then the length on the front shin is up to you and your body. Here, here, here. Anywhere is good, just not on the knee. Don't put it on the knee. Now, if none of those are working for you, take a block. Bring it to the inside of the foot. Coming into that, hand comes to the block, top arm to the sky. This will offer you a lot of leverage to be able to revolve open. But even if you're struggling, like if you're here and you're doing this, hand to the hip, open up. We want this revolved open. We don't want this. We don't want this, right? We want this. When you come out, reverse out of it. So, the height on your shin is going to depend on your body. The top arm to the sky or to the hip, once again, is going to depend on your body. Both of the legs need to be straight. Do not bend them. The biggest mistake that I see is that when I demonstrate this in class for students and I show them the full version that I do, they often try to mimic it when their bodies cannot. Don't try to do what your teacher does if your body can't do it. That is not doing yoga. You want to do what your body allows you to do, what is right for your body. So just because the teacher is going all the way there, and I always give modifications. I always say, come taller on the shin, or you can bring the hand to the hip, etc. But I often see people, they will try to go into the full version, and when your body's not available to do that, you're not getting the benefit from the posture. And this is something you, as the student, have to know. The teacher is there to guide you, right, to show you the posture, but you have to know your body and you have to make the adjustments as what's right for you, right? Because this is your growth, this is your practice. You have to know where your body is. Sure, this teacher come by and say, I think you should come a little higher, right? Especially when you're new, you don't know, right? That's one of the reasons you watch videos. Let me learn. But one of the biggest parts of the practice is learning to make those adjustments, to go, you know what? I'm not so open today. Let me come a little taller. I have to do that. Sometimes I'm in the posture and my right side, I demonstrated on the left, my right side is the tighter side. That's why I use the left, because I can get into a better version to demonstrate with. I can often be a little hunched over on my left side when I come in onto the right side. So I often have to come taller up on the shin. Or sometimes I'm able to come all the way down, but I need to bring this hand to the hip to open up. And when you're doing that, right, if you watch my arm here when I do this, right, this is kind of plugging, we call it plugging the shoulder into the socket, right, the arm into the socket, right? So as that arm is up in the air, to get a little bit more length out of it, if you plug this in this way in there, it can move further this way. So one of the things as you get more advanced in the posture and able to do that is that when you revolve that open is then to let that shoulder drop in and bring it far, a little bit wider. But start with making sure the legs are straight and that you're able to revolve open. If you can't revolve open, you're hunched over, the legs are bent, get a block or get taller on the shin, or bring the hand to the hip, or tall on the shin and hand to the hip, or hand on a block, hand on any one of them to get the body revolved open. Otherwise, it's not revolved triangle. So, that's all I have for today about revolved triangle. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'd be happy to answer. And as always, breathe, follow your breath, and as your thoughts arise, acknowledge them, allow them to pass by, and return to the breath. Namaste.